I'm Naya, mom, boob nerd, board-certified lactation consultant, and lover of lipstick and curse words. I'm that weird Indian girl you knew in high school, all grown up.
And I'm Alexis, mom, birth nerd, and therapist plus doula, encouraging parents to hold joy plus what the fuck is this mess simultaneously. Some people think I'm too much, but those aren't my people. And we are the Top Knot Squad. TKS is a tiny little podcast about motherhood in real life, the good, the bad, the ugly AF.
Hosted by two women that are passionate about our beliefs and unafraid to speak our minds.
Friends that wanted to create space for all that ish we are too scared to talk about.
Are you ready to laugh, be vulnerable, and keep it real with us?
Top knots are not required.
If the Top Knot Squad content makes you laugh, nod in agreement, or makes you feel less alone, we'd love your support in the cost of producing this podcast. Visit patreon.com/TopKnotSquad to learn more about our budget-friendly sponsorship tiers and how you can help ensure that TKS has a future. Every little bit helps.
Here at TKS, we talk about all things related to mom life, pelvic floor health, juggling work and motherhood, and transitions throughout motherhood. Today, we interrupt our regularly scheduled topics to bring you an episode all about dad life. Last season, we brought our partners on the podcast to play an edition of the Newlywed Game. Today, we're here for less competitive reasons. We're going to ask them no-holds-barred questions about fatherhood, how they parent, and how it feels to be married to such amazing powerhouse women. So let's reintroduce our guys. Dave Weber is a software development engineer for a top 4 tech firm. He enjoys a good glass of whiskey, bike rides, and cruising Reddit for hours. A self-described geek, he's a big fan of gadgets, and his latest passion is perfecting the pH of your backyard swimming pool. That's very fun.
He has a mad scientist kit and everything. Well, at least that's what I call it.
All right. Well, Ben is the chief technology officer at a digital music company. He enjoys red wine, telling bad jokes, and watching Liverpool win. He's often mistaken for a lumberjack. He loves plaid, Irish, Scottish culture, and all things Star Wars. He recently lost his mind when he got to meet his childhood idol, Chewbacca. Yay. Welcome, guys.
We're glad to have you.
Hey, I was going to do a Chewbacca thing.
Oh,
but
go for it.
I really can't.
I did a really bad one just now. I mean, yeah.
Your turn.
I just can't.
Why?
Because we're recording.
Chicken.
Not when anyone's watching.
Yeah.
Nobody can see you.
Yeah.
Come on. Go.
That was a solid,
That was good.
60%. Like,
Hey, 60. Almost passing,
I mean, mine was like a 20, so.
We'll work on it. Maybe by the end.
Yeah. Just random Chewbacca noises throughout the podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be like a drinking game for anybody who's listening. Just take a drink of whatever you're having whenever you hear a Chewbacca noise and tell us what you think of the episode at the end after all the noises.
And the drinks.
Exactly. So we thought this episode would be a fun one to do with Father's Day coming up. And like we said in the intro, we've had you on the podcast before to talk about, couple things. But now let's talk about dad things. And so we're always interested to hear from dads, but especially you guys, because obviously we're married to you and we love you and your opinion matters to us. Just about being the badass dads that you guys are.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with a very easy question for you guys. And the question is, what is your favorite part about being a dad?
Easy one, right?
Yeah. Super easy.
Yeah.
Too hard of a question?
Come on.
You got something.
So favorite part about being a dad in the past 24 hours
Okay, there we go. We can do that.
was our son Rohan has been having some kind of head cold thing going on for the past couple of days. And he's just sleeping like garbage. He is not sleeping well. He's not going to bed. He's not sleeping. He's not staying asleep. So last night, he woke up at, 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And he's screaming in his room upstairs. He's like, help me. I need help. I need help. I need help. And he just turned 5. So, I hear him on the monitor. I go upstairs. And I'm like, I'm coming, yelling at him. And so I go upstairs and I go to his room and he's like, my shirt's wet, my pants are wet. Like he had an accident. And so I feel him up and he's fine. I think he's just got cold. And so he thought that everything was wet, but he was just cold. Said, all right, well, come on down. He's been sleeping in our room. Still not breaking that habit, but
There's still time. It's only been a month in the house.
yes. So he came down to our room and then he, snuggled up next to me and he fell asleep. And he is like,
Yeah. He was doing that when I put him to bed too.
he is just snoring his head off. And like his mouth is 3 inches away from my ear. And I'm like, I'm like, are you serious? I have to sleep with this. So I dealt with that all night. And then, so I'm getting to the best part. So the best part was around, 7 o'clock in the morning when like everyone's kind of waking up. My alarm I forgot to set, so I'm already way behind for my normal day. And, he just kind of snuggles in and just like digs into my side and he just wants to be held and snuggled and he's not snoring. So that was about the best part of my day.
Snuggling without snores.
I always like it when that happens.
Snuggles are pretty good. You like those, Ben.
Yeah, I think way a long time ago before I knew about tiny humans sleeping in your bed, I always like imagined that would be like really awesome and amazing. And then when it actually happened, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'7", and I already don't have much of our king-size bed. Mm-hmm. And then if one of those guys gets in there, they like sit halfway in between. They take up like the entire bed, which is really tough. So
and they do starfish.
Yeah.
They do like the perpendicular where like their head's on your chest and their feet are kicking,
And
Sometimes they put their head directly on your neck.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the heat, like the crazy amounts of heat that those little bodies can generate. And I like it cold, so it's not anywhere what I thought it was going to be. But dad snuggles are pretty good if you can get them. I've got a really, how would you describe Rowan? Just really fiery, passionate, strong-willed, natural-born leader, however you want to put it, little girl, and she makes you earn it every day. And you can't mail it in; she won't allow it. So you've got to earn it with her all day, every day, and the payoff is awesome. Like if you put in that time and like just the love that she gives back is amazing. And then my son is like just super sweet, easygoing. I feel like we sometimes she takes all the attention just because of her personality and who she is. And I think we've got to work to be more intentional with him. But he's awesome too. So favorite part of being a dad.
That wasn't the answer.
It's just them. Yeah. I wouldn't train them. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. The other part was tell us why, but you guys already did. Dave, that's it? Snuggles without snoring is your favorite part of being a dad?
That was the last 24 hours, Naya.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
and okay, so 48 hours, and then like, so
Let's take it back a whole other day.
yeah, add another 24 hours on that, and somewhat related, not this morning, but yesterday morning. So Rohan got up. And our 8-year-old is infamous for getting up at 6:15, 6:30, and
sometimes before 6.
Yeah.
He can't stop. It doesn't matter what time he goes to bed.
And he'll get up and he'll like get on the TV or he'll get on a tablet or something, and he's quiet and he's like fine, but it's just like come on, it's too early for screens.
Yeah.
So Rohan woke up at like 7 and he like went out to use the restroom or to like see what his brother was doing because everyone knows his brother's up. His brother's got no chill. And then 30 seconds later, the 8-year-old comes in and he jumps in bed and he wants to snuggle me. And in the meantime, I'm trying to snuggle Naya, and he's like all up on my Kool-Aid, and I'm like, all right, I like this, but all right. But that was a good part too.
Sometimes I feel like they make us earn them too. the snuggles for sure.
Yeah.
They
Well,
put you through the paces.
I'm also very aware of the fact that that will be ending,
Yes.
anytime. I feel like I mean, Rory's 7, Ethan's 8.
Yeah, 8.5.
Yeah. So, well, he's not 7 yet.
He's working on it.
He's almost 7. He'll be 7 in November. But I don't know. I think about that all the time. He's so snuggly and sweet right now. But like, how long? I do think that's part of his personality. So hopefully it extends. But yeah.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's sad.
one thing I said when Rohan was a baby. So Rohan and Ethan are 3.5 years apart, and so when Rohan was a baby, Ethan was still like coming to bed with us, and we basically had to kick him out because we had a baby,
Yeah.
and we couldn't have 2 kids in bed with us at the same time. And I remember saying to Naya that like I can't wait for Ethan to be out of bed with us, but at the same time I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
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 And that's basically it.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it, all of parenthood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what advice would you guys give brand new dads or dads to be?
So this is an interesting one because my sister and my brother-in-law are expecting their first, a little girl, in August. And so what would you tell Biagio?
The first year is about survival.
Yeah. Well, his brother just had a baby.
Yes, that's right.
He's just made a month.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My big brother just had his first baby, which was awesome. We got to meet him. Was that last weekend?
Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend, which is pretty incredible because my name is Ben, as you heard at the beginning, and I've been waiting to be Uncle Ben for a long time. And you asked me, did I bring him rice? I sure did. And it was incredible. And if you don't get that, I'll explain later. But what I told my big brother, which is a little bit reversed because your big brother is usually giving you advice and like showing you the ropes and hopefully protecting you from elementary school and all that stuff. And I told him just get lots and lots of rest. Like sleep is really, really tough to come by. And then just do everything you can to take care of your wife because she went through an amazing journey just to have that sweet little baby boy, and all kinds of things are going on, and she needs all the support she can get. And especially if you don't have like parents like embedded with you, that support system, which they do. We actually stole my mom away from him. So sorry, bro, but we need some help from mom, and we're excited to get that. And just how precious that support system is, just having grandparents around, being able to help out, whatever you got, if that's friends, if that's whatever.
Delegate so you can sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, put in all those favors. My sister's in town with them. She was able to watch them so they could get some sleep. And when we visited, it wasn't so much me hanging out with bro. It was more, I think, giving mom a chance to unwind with Alexis. So they got some.
I don't think we did a good job letting them sleep, actually.
Probably not. And that's really tough. But I also tried to, when we were there, just invite them to kick us out. Like, don't feel like you need to keep us around. We get it. So you're brand new parents. You're trying to figure out everything. And it's okay just to say, hey, I need some time. So I tried to give them, they never used it. They were happy to have us. But sometimes you do need to use that and kick people out and just take care of yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And be a little family for yourselves without any outside interference, at least temporarily. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, in general, like since becoming parents, it's like whenever we have friends or acquaintances who become parents, one thing that I remember being very useful because Naya was on bed rest with Rohan, her second, and I don't even recall the first, but I just know that she had a bunch of friends who dropped off food and dropped off all that kind of stuff. And, we would just freeze stuff and then pull stuff out and just bake it or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we just try to make a point to, drop off a casserole or something like that with new parents because, even if it's something just as basic as like, I don't want to think about food. I just want to eat something and, fill up and be done, then that's extremely helpful as well. Yeah, and it's just something that we picked up as a best practice or lesson learned or whatever, and I think that everyone should try and do that for new parents. I mean, and the other side to that is like when you do drop off the casserole, it's like go in, drop it off. Here's your food. Hi,
Leave.
Yeah,
leave.
exactly. Or like do some dishes, take out the
Yeah.
bathroom garbage.
Yeah,
something
and
else.
It's like if they want to show off the baby, then that's on them. If they don't, then like your job should be, in and out like a ninja kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I cringe when I think about my friends that had kids before I had kids because I'm sure I did something not helpful.
Yeah. I still remember we had a visitor come from Dave's work, from his old job after our oldest was born, and they just sat there for like 2 hours. And I'm like, you need to go. I need to feed this baby, and I'm going to feed this baby. But you need to go. Like, this is plenty of time.
Like,
and
you really had to say that?
no, I didn't. I just kept
was in
kind of
your head.
shooting Dave the dagger eyes, and I'm like,
I'm trying to remember who was it. B. Okay.
and his wife also wore. She's a very sweet lady. I'm pretty sure she's never going to listen to this podcast, so I feel okay saying this. But she was wearing heavy perfume, and she was holding the baby, and then she gave the baby back to me, and it didn't smell like my baby anymore. It smelled like her, and I think I was like, we're going to bathe him tonight. And Dave's like, he just had a bath. I'm like, I don't care. He doesn't smell like my baby. We need to get this off of him. Yeah.
Oh.
But no, I think that
they were very well intentioned.
they were very well intentioned. I was appreciative for them stopping by. They were one of the few visitors we had after Ethan was born. We didn't have too many.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone is well-intentioned, which is all the more reason to not get defensive about parents saying this is what we need.
Exactly. Yep.
So, what's next?
We can jump around.
All right. Oh, I liked this one. It's no secret that Naya and Alexis have demanding careers that include holding a lot of emotional space for others. Why is that funny?
I didn't laugh.
Why'd you laugh? It's true.
So, how do you support your ambitious wives on the days that they are depleted?
I'll jump in there. I think that's really, really tough. I think when we've had our most struggling moments is I had a challenging day at work. I've got nothing left in the tank. Alexis had a challenging day. She let it all out there. It's all out there on the table. I kind of feel the same way. Like you're just empty.
Yeah.
So if you're a therapist, you've got to hold space for that. And for a tech guy, it seems kind of silly to say, but if you deal with people, period, you get in there and you're exhausted, and it's really, really tough. So that doesn't always align the right way, and you can't always be that for your person, and I'm sorry. But hopefully, like I know, so Alexis is a doula. I know if she goes to a birth, hopefully it's an easy one, but there's been times where just life happens, it's messy, and she could be a wreck when she comes back home, and I know I have to, like, in advance prepare myself for that and, just be able to have that space for her. It's tougher when it's, like, spur of the moment, just this happened, and I feel like, I need to decompress too, like, this happened to me, but this happened to me, and so it's tough. So
I don't think you gave a solution.
I haven't figued that out. So please teach us your ways.
All I heard from that conversation was this job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
My response is a glass of wine, or maybe just giving her space and letting her go into the bedroom, lay down, just take the kids and try to make it as stress-free and as...
Some nights it's chicken fingers and french fries for dinner for everybody. And that's usually those nights where we're just come home and you're exhausted because you had a long day or a meeting that ran long, and I'm just tired from work too. And then the kids are, nonstop, and so it's like, all right,
Dad, I have a question. Dad, look at this cool dragon or
can
Pokemon.
we
Pokemon,
talk
Pokemon,
about-
Pokemon.
Oh my
No.
gosh, Rory just got into Pokemon.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. I don't get it, guys.
I don't know.
don't know how to play.
It's Is it the card or the cartoons?
It's the cards, and there's this board and coins and points, and I don't get it.
So the card game is one aspect of it, but like, and it's a card. It's a different kind of card game. Like if you played Magic, if you played Pokemon, if you played Yu-Gi-Oh, if you played, and there's just it's a different kind of card game with different mechanics. It's just like poker, right? I mean, there's just different mechanics to it.
Except with tiny little creatures that morph into things.
Yeah,
it's a mechanic, right?
My evolved Pokemon.
My Bulbasaur evolved into a Venusaur.
Yeah, that.
I've got a Pichu who evolved into a Pikachu who evolved into a Pikachu.
I don't.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp though, right?
I have no idea what that even means.
Okay.
Bad jokes.
Bad joke. Yeah, I'm here. Hey.
But anyway, so it gets a little bit different when they get into the cartoons as well, because the cartoons are like, or the anime is just a whole different like aspect of it, because then you have plot and characters and like who's doing what, and then trying to organize all the different
back
seasons.
To the question.
No, I'm in. I started this. I was into it.
Can you tell? I don't like Pokemon.
Oh, I can't stand it. But
at all.
it's like when you're talking, you sound exactly like my son, and I don't get it. It just doesn't click.
It's like dinosaurs.
I guess he likes those too.
Dinosaurs, I get though.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing as dinosaurs. Pokemon are like dinosaurs. They're somewhat imaginary. They are fantastical. They're beyond imagination. They've got stories. They've got characters. They've got backstories, and so kids just dig them. I mean, they've been going on since I was a kid.
Yeah, that is true. This sounds like one of your favorite things about being a dad is you get to enjoy Pokemon with your son.
No, I don't really enjoy Pokemon at all. That's just
really
no.
That's hard to believe.
I never got into Pokemon when I was a kid, and
it just clicks for you. You just understand it.
I just get it because I was into Transformers and GoBots and G.I. Joe and all that.
Now we're talking.
I mean, that's kid of the '80s, right? That's the kind of stuff that I got to deal with, but like. Pokemon was a video game on a Game Boy, and a Game Boy was this, $200 gaming system handheld that was just beyond imagination when I was a kid because it was just so damn expensive. And now they're just so ubiquitous and, relatively inexpensive that, like the Pokemon card game didn't even come out until after the video game came out. And so, like, you've got the cards, you've got the video games, you've got toys, you've got, stuffies, plushies, banners,
movie.
So much birthday party stuff.
Yes. Balloons.
Well, I distracted you. You were going to say something brilliant, it sounded like, because you were talking about the noise of children, and they're like telling you all this stuff, but it was about what you do for Naya.
What you do for me, yeah. After a hard day.
Do you remember?
Or when we both
it's just trying to deflect and trying to, if they're like, mom, it's like, no,
like it's a lot of redirection, basically.
Bodyguard jumping in front of,
barrage of questions about Pokemon.
Was it Vanessa? No, who was in that?
Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston, yes.
What movie?
The Bodyguard.
The Bodyguard.
Oh, The Bodyguard.
It's like the kids and the questions and the bullets coming in, and
Gotcha.
I'm Kevin Costner jumping in front of Whitney Houston.
I get it.
And picking her up and carrying her off into the bedroom.
Took me a second. I get it now. That's awesome.
That would be a good meme. I'm just going to say
that would be. We better create it quick.
No, let's get on that. So on that note, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to the question. So can either of you, tell me what your favorite way is to connect with your partner and also how to connect with your kids? Now, I see those eyebrows, Dave. Other than that, how do you like to connect with me?
You like the eyebrows, huh?
No. The eyebrows usually mean one thing. Yeah, I get it.
Sex?
So, yeah. That would be
Does it
his.
work?
For him, not for me. I usually need something before that, but.
Okay, so how do you connect with your partner and how do you connect with your kids? Let's stay on track. Sorry.
It's okay.
Focusing.
Yeah, I guess I could say, how do I connect with Alexis? I think that's really when the kids are to sleep and we get quality time that we can just talk. Like not even just tuning out and watching TV, but like really talk about tough stuff. Lately, it's been about like moving and everything surrounding that, being worried about sending our children to public school, the anxiety around that, moving your business, all that kind of stuff. So that connection, I think, is just us really just having some time to talk and focus and attention, which with all the digital devices, I know I can do a better job at that. So
Well, we both can.
Yeah.
But we keep talking about we need to like plug our phones somewhere else, so we're forced to talk to each other. But
yeah.
That was the babysitter. Everything's fine.
Okay.
good.
And then connecting with children, I think the favorite thing that I've been able to connect with my son on, we built, my father-in-law as a gag, I think, got us this Saturn V Lego rocket, which is like
Oh my
2,200.
God. I
Yeah.
so want that.
Okay.
That
They built it.
Yeah, we built it. So
okay, for anyone not
Yeah.
listening, it is a scale model replica of the Saturn V rocket that they used to launch the Apollo missions. They don't have the minifigs, the inch-high guys, because it's to scale. They've got microfigs, which are something like a half inch in size for the microfigures. And the entire rocket in general is something like over 36 inches tall.
Yes.
So you're talking about a scale model Lego rocket from the Apollo era, which is just, I want it so bad. It's fantastical. It's so cool.
it's incrediable. Yeah. So, and we went to Houston.
Sorry.
No. Father's Day is coming up. Hint, hint. I wonder what you
Yeah.
should get.
Making mental notes itself right now.
Well, not just that, but there's also the Millennium Falcon.
Yes,
The
that
75
Super pricey.
I would gladly.
Okay.
How much is it?
It's $750.
Holy shit.
It is the biggest Lego set they've ever made. It's something like 7,500 pieces.
How many pieces was the
So
rocket?
that's almost four times as many Legos as
wow.
the Saturn V
The
rocket.
Millennium Falcon is about as big as this table.
Holy moly. Okay.
That's on the moon.
That's in the future.
It's something like 3 feet in diameter. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Naya needs to buy you a rocket so you can connect with your kid.
Yeah, so we split that up over like he called them levels. He was like, okay, we're going to do level 1 tonight. So they're split up into all these different bags, and I think every night we did some of them. I recorded it on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you had to suffer through some of that. But
Follow him on Instagram.
whatever that means.
Wait,
I don't
what
know.
is your Instagram? We'll put
was
it in the
just gonna
show
ask that.
notes.
Yeah.
Nobody follows him on Instagram.
Yeah,
No, plug yourself. Plug your Instagram.
I have no idea what it is.
It's Ardentra.
Okay,
At Ardentra.
Spell that.
ARDENTRA. Right?
all right, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
think
that's
that's
Yeah,
right.
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we would. He was really funny about it. He was like, "Okay, Dad, let's." He was just so much into it, and it's level 1. And he'd get frustrated. Like there's some probably stuff that a little bit beyond his ability. I think it's for. I want to say it's for like 8 or 9 year olds, and he's 6. But he did it. He crushes Legos. He's awesome at Legos. So that was something that I was able to connect with him on, and then just reading books. So we try to read books every night before bed. My grandmother, who passed away, she gave us this big set of Paddington books, which getting through Paddington's pretty brutal because I think he's an English author and it's very proper English. And the story of Paddington's great, but it's tough for a 6-year-old. So we've made it through 2 of those books, and
You started Harry Potter.
we started Harry Potter,
Yeah.
which I've been waiting for a long time. Big Harry Potter, go Gryffindor, if you follow that. But and yeah, my daughter, she's I haven't really figured out a great way to really connect with her yet. So that's a work in progress. But we've done stuff like
You need to let her do your hair.
Put nail polish on you.
Yeah.
yeah,
She asks you to do those things, which that's kind of related to one of our later questions.
okay.
And you uncomfortably are like, no, you don't need to do my hair or paint my nails.
She can do my hair. There's not much of it anymore, but more power to you.
Ask for like a Tormund treatment kind of thing.
Okay.
Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
know. They watch.
Okay.
They partake. Yeah.
I don't have that much to work with, so it'd have to be like a.
I mean, the beard thing.
The beard, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you could do the braids and beard or something, you know.
Tinsel beard around Christmas, maybe.
I'm just saying, I've seen her asked to paint your nails before, and you've uncomfortably, or she's asked you to paint hers, and you've uncomfortably been like, ugh.
Her nails are really small. Like, yeah.
Just get
5-year-old nails, yeah.
Just get
Yeah.
a house painting like brush and just be like, stick out your fingers, boom, done. You're all good.
They only ask you once?
Yeah.
Yeah. She would be so mad at me. That might end our relationship. So I don't know.
It's probably not a good idea then. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, for me and her, it's tougher. But we still, we have moments where it's, I know she loves me and I have that connection, but I can tap into that way easier with Rory. I was Rory's soccer coach for a season, and that was awesome. That was amazing. So I was able to connect with him. And with Rowan, we signed her up for soccer again this season, and she was like, "I'm out. This isn't for me." So we paid for a season of soccer, and
Of nothing.
she went 2 or 3 times, and she just stood there on the sidelines like, "I'm not doing this."
Oh, no.
But she wanted to do this, but she really didn't want to. So,
Yeah. Dave's turn.
sorry.
It's okay.
Ethan, I mean, anything video games. Like he's big into video games, and I'm relatively into that. Like if I get into a video game, he wants to play it, he wants to do it, he wants to watch me play it. So he's very much into the digital kind of stuff. Rohan's, he's getting into that. He's getting into like tablet time and video games, and then Pokemon. He's really getting into that, and so he's kind of he's still young enough where he's trying to figure out what he likes and what he wants to get into. So he's, at 5, he's a little bit simpler, I guess. But another thing is when I got in, so in the past year, I've gotten into biking. So I started biking really hardcore. I then got into an accident, and then I stopped biking altogether. So in the meantime there, I'm trying to get back into biking, and both Rohan, so I've got a tag-along kind of bike that hooks onto my bike, and Rohan loves doing that. But
even though he doesn't like to pedal it, he just likes to sit on it and go. Yeah.
And then Ethan, just wants to keep doing it too. So that's another way that I can kind of connect with both of them. And
awesome.
It's hard finding the time because it's also getting to the really yucky part of summertime where you wake up and it's 85 degrees and 70% humidity and it's just gross. Mm-hmm. And I hate doing that to a kid. I hate doing it to myself, but I hate doing it to a kid even more.
Yeah.
It sounds like the answer is you got to figure out what your kid likes and do that with them.
Yeah, basically.
Well, how do you connect with Naya?
That's actually challenging as of late. Mm-hmm. Because we both are very focused on kids and work. Her work is very challenging, very stressful right now. Same with me. I was recently promoted, and so there's a lot of new and crazy challenges there.
Congrats.
Thank you. And so it ends up, if we're lucky, we get to spend a few minutes or maybe a few hours on the couch just vegging, watching TV, holding hands, that kind of thing. And if we're not lucky, then one of us is passed out in bed with one of our children.
The other one's up working quietly. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely at that, I don't want to say difficult, but it's a challenging part of our marriage. And I know it comes in seasons, and it's going to get better here soon, but it just really sucks right now, as far as spending time together. So, but obviously it's something we're both committed to and trying to sneak in moments whenever we can. The kids being at home makes it a lot more challenging. When they were in school, it was like, well, I don't have any clients today. Can you take the afternoon off from work and come home and we could go to lunch or something like that? And so that's become a lot more challenging. So we're trying to, it's like we have to figure out new ways to be able to connect with each other while the kids are home over the summer.
Mm-hmm. We used to have, do you remember when Cheyenne used to babysit every other Saturday? We had a set schedule with her. And it was good because 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 it's not like we can't like hire a sitter randomly, but you just get into the chaos and you just forget to do that. But if it was already on the schedule, like she would text like, okay, see you this weekend. And we're like, oh, we got to figure out what we're doing. So we need to find that again.
Yeah, what was really nice is this was just our 9th anniversary. Alexis said it was our 10th anniversary, but
I forgot. I can't do math.
it was
I
actually
put 10th in the post.
Math hard.
yeah,
Math is hard.
it was actually our 9th. But my mom's here, and she was able to watch the kids for us, and we were able to do like a night away.
But we spent it shopping for furniture and blinds. So.
But still, I mean, we were able to. That's more than we've been able to connect in forever.
Yeah.
And just having that opportunity. Thank you, Mom.
Yes. Thanks, Mama Bear. That's what they call her.
You just reminded me, my birthday last year, we went to Home Depot and we were looking at sinks and faucets for our kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was how we spent his birthday, literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to say, since nobody can see right now, but Naya and Dave are holding hands and it's precious.
We have a sitter tonight, so this is going to be our date night.
They're connecting right now. All right. I want to ask the feminism question.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's also no secret that you married women that really care about social justice and like changing the world.
Wait, what?
Surprise.
Fuck you say? Shit.
So I wanted to hear from you guys, what have you learned entering parenthood about how we're supposed to be teaching certain messages to our kids? And then, like, how are you working to kind of combat the cultural narrative about what it means? I mean, especially, Dave, you have 2 boys. We have 1 son and a daughter. What are you doing in your parenting intentionally to try to combat some of the cultural narratives that are harmful for our kiddos and that we want to be different?
I know you're not going to have an answer.
Tough
Be like,
question.
I don't know. But
Yeah, so Alexis is if you know what the Enneagram is, she's a number 8. She is a challenger. So I constantly get challenged. It wouldn't matter if I was even right. I'm going to get challenged, period. And with that challenge comes growth. Like that's something that's really made me uncomfortable. And I've had to struggle with growing up in West Texas and living in a small town in West Texas and just culturally not living in a diverse population, any way you want to slice that up. So I've had work for me that I needed to personally do, and probably that's a little bit of what you're talking about, that I don't want to get my nails painted for my daughter or something like that, because that's not machismo, or that's not something that dudes do or whatever. So that's a work in progress, and it's something that I honestly I still struggle through. So I'm not perfect. I can see the damage that can do to people, and just kind of breaking the cycle. And Alexis has done a good job of challenging me to grow there. So hopefully you've seen me grow there. But
Yes, you've grown.
but yeah, it just stuff like, and I look at my daughter, right? So women in tech is like really, really tough. Like I think they get beat up more than dudes. They don't have the same opportunities, and I don't want that for my daughter. So if we can make those
So disproportionate, right?
yeah,
What's the percentage of women in tech?
way less than it should be.
It's like an order of magnitude difference. It's bad.
Yeah.
I related, the bigger tech companies tend to be very intentional about being inclusive, and very intentional about fostering minorities, fostering women in tech, fostering LGBTQ populations all within tech. And really, that's something that's new to me, because being in a tech position at previous jobs and then being in a tech position at the company I'm in right now, they are extremely intentional. There's lots of internal groups, lots of communities, and they all reach out and they want to grow, and they want to, hear those voices from all those different communities. So, I think that companies are getting it. Companies are looking to be more inclusive and looking to make that better, especially tech companies. And so things are looking better, but there's still a lot of way to go.
Yeah, if you follow Twitter at all, it's still really brutal out there. So we've got a long way to go all across the board. So there's progress, but at least people are talking about it. So that is progress, but there is so much more we can do, and that I hope we do. I don't know what Rowan's going to want to be or do, but if she did want to venture off into the tech industry, I hope it's ready for her, because she is a firecracker. She's going to let them have it if they're not. So,
well, you're in a leadership position at your job, so I feel like you're making an effort to actually do stuff there.
Yeah. I think we can all do our part, and you've definitely helped challenge me to see things maybe differently than I did and maybe previously. But yeah, I work with there's not a whole lot of women that I work with, but the women I do work with are amazing, and they do lots for us, and we need more of them. So. Mm-hmm.
Somewhat, it's related, but maybe not totally related to this podcast. There's a Grace Hopper conference down in Houston, and if you don't know, listeners, Grace Hopper was an admiral in the Navy, and she was considered to be one of the first computer programmers, and she's the one that actually coined the term "a bug" to be a software defect. And the story behind that is that she would. Computers at the time were electromechanical, so they actually had little switches that moved. So one day, one of her programs didn't work properly, and they went and investigated, and they found a moth stuck underneath one of these relays. And so they literally found a bug preventing the computer from operating properly. And this is in the 40s and 50s. And, she became such a vocal advocate for computers, computer science, women in computing. And so there's a conference, I believe it's in Houston, and at least my company sends a delegation there yearly. And so something maybe for you to check out and see if you can, send people to it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did you know about that?
I think I met they sent somebody. I went to a summit here in Austin, and at that summit, they actually did, I think, a pretty good job of representing different groups. And I think somebody from Grace Hopper was at the event. She was from Houston, and I had several conversations that day. I don't know if I told you that, but and it's really kind of tough too, right? Like, I'm a white dude having a conversation. How can I know that work is on me. Like, I need to do that work. You shouldn't have to tell me the work that I need to do to do what I need to do. But legitimately, I was asking for help. Like, are there, like, if I'm looking for a certain type of candidate, are there certain places I can look? Are there people I can talk to? Are there things that I can be doing differently? So I had a lot of conversations about that, and hopefully that was received well. I legitimately, I was asking for real, honest feedback, and I think I got that, and hopefully that was how it was received. But I also felt bad that I was asking how to do that. So that kind of feels, at least that I was a little uncomfortable just even having the conversation, but
those are the best conversations.
You at least got me to have the conversation. So, yeah.
That's true.
If you're not uncomfortable, you're not moving toward any type of change.
Yeah.
Which I think was your answer of what are you doing in your parenting is you're doing a lot of unlearning. That's the answer. That's what you're doing. That's something.
Mm-hmm. And that work is hard and important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So onward to unlearning all of our bullshit.
What about you, Dave?
What was the question again?
That was it was basically how do you both know that basically Alexis and I are raging feminists, air quotes for those who can't see me. But how has that kind of rubbed off on you and in your parenting style, and what do you do to kind of help shift the cultural narrative of masculinity, manhood, being a dad, all of that?
So, I mean, I think just chilling the fuck out. That's basically it. Like Ethan wanted his nails painted when he was 4 and 5, and it
For
was
years. Yeah.
for several years, and it was like, some dads would be like, no, absolutely not, and I'm just like, I don't care. It's not important.
He went through a really big Doc McStuffins phase where he was obsessed and needed to have everything Doc McStuffins. I don't know if you remember, but one year his water shoes that he picked out were Doc McStuffins. And we went to Target and I was like, oh, look at all of these. And he's like, I want those, and pointed to like the pink and yellow Doc McStuffins ones. And I'm like, you sure, bud? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And so I remember bringing them home and going, Dave, just FYI, Ethan picked out pink Doc McStuffins water shoes. And he's like, okay. That's fine. And so I think, I mean, what I really love about him is that he doesn't, a lot of what seems to come to him naturally is what needs to be done to kind of unlearn behavior, whether it's in me or whether it's in him or in our kids that they pick up from outside sources, now that they're old enough. But a lot of it it's just how he parents. And I'm not saying he's perfect. He definitely has his own fair share of unlearning. I was going to say unlearning to do, but
right back at you.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. But the fact that he is open to listening to it, and one thing that I've been kind of, I guess you can say I'm leading the force with this, is definitely taking consent into effect when we're talking with our kids. And I'm noticing you do it too. It's like, well, can I give you a hug? Or may I help you change your clothes? Or can I help you with this, before just kind of diving in and doing it? And I know Dave's been really good about that, especially with things like bath time and privacy, and explaining like, okay, well, dad needs privacy. I have to close the door. I'm trying to change my clothes. It's a private thing. You need to knock if you want to come in. And then our kids, they kind of mimic that back to us. And so
and kind of related to that is we've been having problems with both kids being like handsy at school or handsy with whatever, and
I'm talking like aggressive handsy, not
and it's trying to nip that in the bud. A lot of that, just trying to say, all right, well, people's body autonomy and all that, and just body autonomy, and trying to figure out like, how do you explain to an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old that if they do this if they get handsy and have this kind of behavior when they're 10 or when they're 12, then they could go to, get in really bad trouble, if someone like wants to make us think about it. And it's trying to explain, the mores and the I can't remember the other social constructs other than mores, but the norms and mores. Yeah. High five.
Yeah.
The norms and mores and all that associated with American culture and what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, without having to bring to the fact like, this is sexual harassment. You don't want to do this.
It's a lot of kind of taking apart the boys will be boys parenting style that I know we all grew up with. It's, it's normal for a boy to want to snap your bra strap or pull your hair. It means he likes you, all of that stuff. So it's definitely something I know I've been working towards, and I can see Dave doing it too, whether it's intentional or whether it's just that he wants parenting to be consistent between the two of us. It's still happening.
Yeah, that's definitely for us too. That's something I for sure struggle with because I don't think I got the why behind it. But like my daughter, hey Rowan, can I give you a hug and kiss goodnight? Nope. And that just like destroys me because like I love my daughter. I want her to know that I love her, and that was always the norm for us and my family. But knowing behind the why behind why, absolutely, Rowan, you're in control of all that, and I'm proud of you that you're saying no. Like it took piecing that together for me to kind of buy into that and understand it. So I do think some of the why behind why those things are important. If you're coming from a place of that's okay and you just don't like, I would need to know the reason behind it for me to unlearn why maybe what I was after isn't the healthiest thing for Rowan long term. Like she's gonna grow up and she's gonna be a young woman someday, and I'm happy that we're teaching she's already learned, like, she knows the lesson. Like, she owns that is very much Rowan. Mm-hmm. But it's also tough, like, for our family. Like, Rowan, can I have a hug? And then, nope. And then that's kind of awkward because that was not our upbringing. That was not our norm.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I was going to say that I think that's something else that you're working on is speaking up when that happens. So when like family doesn't understand something that we're doing and changing that. So like really random example, when we were at your brother's and we were swimming and we were like, somebody said like, come to the boys' side and this is the girls' side. Like they were splitting us up. And I was like, there's no boys and girls' side in the pool, which I'm sure most of your family probably thought I was insane for saying that, but in the moment you backed me up. So I know that was hard for you because that's the norm, but you are doing a better job of challenging other people as well.
We saw that with when we went back to Pennsylvania over spring break to visit family. We met a bunch of my family that had never even met the kids. They'd seen pictures and videos and stuff, but never
Extended
met
family.
them. Yeah, extended family, sorry. And so they were like, oh, give me a hug. And you could see just kind of the fear on both of my boys' faces. And Dave was like, how about a high five instead? And so they were fine with that. And the kids were okay with that. But just kind of, I heard you say that at least a couple of times. Yeah, see, I know. You're like, I don't even realize I'm doing it. But no, the fact that I'm hearing him do that and just kind of taking that knowledge that I know and I will fully accept responsibility, like kind of leading the charge on setting these boundaries and these guidelines for our kids, to see him do that and apply it in a context where I think it was really appropriate was really nice for me to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time, but I think this might be a good final question is, who is the person who strongly influenced your view about the reality of family life or the parent-child relationship? Who inspired you?
So yeah, for me, it's been my dad, which is still tough for me to talk about, but yeah.
Do you want to say anything else?
Yeah,
Ben's dad passed away, so he's not with us.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why Dave's kind of quiet over there too. His answer, I'm sure, would be his mom, who passed away along 18 years ago or so, but it's still obviously a big part of their lives. So yeah, I think that having a family and little ones when that main person can't be in your life is really challenging and probably puts forth a whole set of challenges, which is probably another episode all in itself. So we'll save it for that. Yeah.
Did you want to say, it looks like you want to say something else.
Yeah, he was just amazing guy, everybody's best friend. We go in the grocery store and people would just know him. That's something I hope that I can be for my children. And he wasn't perfect, but no one is. And I think he did a really good job. And I've got 2 brothers and a sister. And I hope if nothing else, like for my children, that they have like that closeness that we had. And he kind of, along with my mom, created that dynamic. So I hope that for us. I hope later on in life, Rory is going to fight for Rowan. Same thing. I know Rowan's going to fight for everybody, but that they're going to stay together and they're going to love each other. And if nothing else, we taught them that. So I look at him as like still just kind of my driving force. So,
Do you want to say anything?
Did you know that feline AIDS is the #1 killer of domestic cats?
Okay, so you guys are definitely similar because I always tell Ben when emotions get high, he has to crack a joke because it's just too much for him.
Yeah.
So, but I am going to say this one thing just based off of the emotion that came up when we asked that question is clearly it's very obvious that the parent-child relationship is tremendous, you know? So clearly you both had major inspiration, impact from your parents in your life in some way, and not having them here has had an impact too. So knowing that has definitely impacted how you parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say. Yeah.
Well, we're over time for sure.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys coming back to the studio.
Letting us torture you with our questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Anytime.
Any final words?
Dave, do you want to give a shout out to Harold that may be listening to this podcast?
Who's Harold?
His coworker.
What's up, Harcombs?
Any final words, Ben?
I was going to tell a joke about that paper, but it's terrible.
What? Offensive, terrible?
No, that's a joke.
That's the joke.
The paper is terrible.
My work here is done.
All right. It is definitely
Mic drop.
done. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.
If the Top Knot Squad's content makes you laugh, nod in agreement, or makes you feel less alone, we'd love your support in the cost of producing this podcast. Visit patreon.com/TopKnotSquad to learn more about our budget-friendly sponsorship tiers and how you can help ensure that TKS has a future. Every little bit helps.
If you like what you hear, then be sure to click the subscribe button in your podcast app. While you're there, leave us a review. You can find us on social media. Just search for Top Knot Squad. We welcome your feedback and love making new friends.